friends. It's me again, Adam Schneider. Welcome back. This is episode 105 of the Sales on Demand Show. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get more sales with something that I call Trendjacking. Don't forget, there are many ways to consume the Sales on Demand Show. One of them, of course, is to visit the homepage, salesondemandshow.com, and every single episode is stored as a page with the word E and the numbers. So if you want to scroll through and see what episodes we've got, just type in E and any number. One from 1 to 105, and you'll find an episode attached to that URL. We're also on iTunes, also on Spotify. So, I'm right up there with Joe Rogan himself on Spotify. Although, they didn't pay me any money, so, whatever. But YouTube, the show is on YouTube. It's just, it's an audio-only channel. But you can subscribe to that. You'll be notified whenever a new video comes out. But please feel free to leave a review on iTunes or on whatever your podcast supplier is, so that I get more listeners, because you always want more people listening to your show, and that's the best way to get it. If somebody reviews it, then they give you a little more traffic. So if you appreciate what I'm doing here, I would definitely love it for you guys to go and do that. That would help me out a lot, and it costs you nothing. So it's a way to kind of pay me back for all the free stuff I've been giving you. Ha! I'm just kidding. All right, so let's get into this. So I'm really just waiting for May. It's almost the end of April, and the weather is nice, but we still have snowstorms in the forecast. And I'm not about snowstorms. I'm not a fan of snowstorms. I want those thunderstorms, man. I don't know what is better than a thunderstorm, but whatever it is, it's got to be pretty freaking good, because I love thunderstorms, and we hardly get any. We only get thunderstorms, May and June, sometimes in July, and then it just kind of dries out for the rest of the summer, and that's it. After August, that's basically all the rain we get turns back into winter. So, yeah, waiting for my thunderstorms, trying to sort out what I'm going to be doing this summer. I had thought the Army was going to be sending me on some training, and as is pretty much par for the course, they are kind of farting around a bit with my qualifications. So I was supposed to be able to skip the basic training, and now they're saying I might not be able to. So, I don't know. I don't know how this year's going to look, but I am excited for the appearance of summer, finally. I've hit 10K again, so in my running. So that's kind of fun. It's just too bad that there's no actual races going on, like in-person races, because I would love to go out and test myself against other people, but I guess I'll be waiting for next year to do that. All right. Hey, so what's selling right now? Well, it is very quiet, and it's very bizarre. I really don't know what's going on in the markets. I'll talk a little bit about what's going on in crypto and some of the stock market stuff. This is the weirdest year I've ever seen, except for 2020. So I really don't know. All bets are off for this year. It's supposed to be Mother's Day, and there's supposed to be people shopping for Mother's Day gifts. Last year, people just went crazy, buying so many print-on-demand products that we basically crushed all of the warehouses. We destroyed them. We bought every mug that they had, to the point where they were going out and just calling, out in the streets, hey, does anybody have any blank mugs to sell? We need mugs. They couldn't get any more shipments from China because it was shut down. It was crazy. So I don't think we're going to have a crazy year like that again. But the buyers are out there, and I am seeing a slow but steady increase in sales, which, at this point in time, we've only got about a week left of people, so that people can buy their products and make it in time for Mother's Day. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. But of course, Father's Day follows right up after that. And I think I have some strategies that I'm going to try and put out there for increasing my Father's Day sales. So we'll talk about that in another week. I'm still sort of formulating that. Yeah, it's a weird year. You never know what's going to happen. But I think it's still going to be a good year. Always, you can get a free video and some weekly tips when you join my email list. salesondemandshow.com/AZ. Just the letters AZ. Go ahead, visit that link. I put out about one email every 2 weeks. Sometimes every 3 weeks. It's actually been... I'm not as motivated to email people. I know that a lot of you guys get so many emails that I just don't want to flood you. I want you to be excited when you get an email from me. I want you to be like, man, I'm going to print this out and treasure it. Hang it on my fridge. So go ahead and do that. It's a keepsake. All right. So my sales to date. Every week I talk about, what I'm doing to give you guys some transparency on how what I'm talking about is working for me. So far, it's working pretty good. I just crossed 10,000 on Amazon, and I'm about 6,500 on Etsy. So that is, I'm still up 13% over last year on Amazon. That's probably going to shrink because this was kind of my prime time last year on Amazon. So we'll see if I can manage to increase that even more. I do have a very interesting experiment running right now. Not an experiment per se, but I bought a piece of software, or I subscribed, I guess I should say, to a piece of software that is going to launch 30,000 products in my Amazon store by the end of the year. So, and it only cost me $1,000. And I'm hoping that I can get you guys a link to that software. It's amazing. I was really excited about it. I was kind of on the fence about whether I was going to join the program, but when I saw what, the benefits were, and when I, knowing the reputation of the person who put it out there, I just knew that, if he put something out there like this, it's a good idea. So I bought that. It's $1,000. And so far it's been throwing up. It's probably got 150 to 200 products on my Amazon store already. So that's cool. Also posting to Etsy. So there we go. That's what's happening already. And I just have to say one thing, is that you just cannot control the world. This has been a hard year for me. And I never lie to you guys. I mean, you know me. I'm always telling you the truth, maybe to my own detriment, right? I know there's a lot of business owners and motivational podcasts out there where they're just like always talking about positive stuff, but I just don't think that's not me. I'm not always happy. I'm not always very, positive about the future, and I go back and forth between being very excited and being annoyed and angry, and this has been a hard year for me. And so I often have to just center myself. I'm not 100% there yet. And I think I'm okay with admitting that, because I know that I'm just a real person. If you guys didn't think I was a real person, I don't think you'd be listening to this podcast. I'm not a robot that is just achieving success by controlling everything around me. I don't. I'm just as upset about what's happening as many of you. But I realize I cannot control any of that. I can't make people come and shop online. All I can do is control myself. And I do that by being a better version today of who I was yesterday. So I'm striving every day to do something different, to move forward just a little bit from where I was the day before. And that's really all I can do at this point in time. It's just to try to guide this ship in a better direction than it was yesterday, and not, be angry about the sharks in the water and all of the pirates around me. Just go ahead, steer towards the goal. So that's hopefully something motivational for you guys as well. If you're struggling with this whole lockdown thing, If you live in the U.S., of course, you're probably not struggling because you're not locked down. But in Canada, we are just, I mean, this is getting crazy. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I'm just kind of I have to tune it out because I can't handle this. All right, so let's talk about trendjacking. So I guess the longer version of this would be trend hijacking. So this is a way to get sales by jumping on trending topics. And there's a whole bunch of different kinds of trending topics. We'll talk about 5 of them. And this is really a really juicy way to get sales. A lot of people who run Facebook ads or paid traffic, this is what they're doing. Now, the interesting thing about Facebook ads is that they're kind of dead now. There used to be a time, and I would say 2017, 2018, the Facebook ads and print on demand was a glorious thing to get into. It was very hard to fail at it. Like you could just make some products based on Mother's Day or some other trending idea. You could throw it on Facebook, pay them a couple dollars, and just rake in the money. Now, you just can't do that. Facebook has made it much harder to advertise on their platform. They suspend people like normal print-on-demand sellers. They just suspend your advertising account to the point for no reason whatsoever. They've disallowed political advertising, so you can't talk about politics. I mean, it's gotten really bad. And now Facebook has basically deleted the ability to track your sales, so you can't even track what you're selling. So it's pretty awful. But as far as the marketplaces go, all of that is still a go. I mean, not much has changed selling on Amazon and Etsy, I would say, in the last 4 to 5 years. It's gotten a little more competitive for sure. But anybody who's got the, fire in the belly to get out there and work, you can still make a lot of money. And one of my favorite ways to make money is by jumping on a trending topic. And I don't know if I invented this quote, but it occurred to me. You don't have to be the best if you're first. And so this is a way that I've recommended to new sellers to season your Amazon account with sales. Like, it's very hard to break into Amazon these days by just producing the same old designs. It's like best mom ever, best uncle ever. Those just don't cut it anymore. There was a time where you could just throw any old thing on Amazon and you might make a sale or two from it, but those days have passed. Now you have to be a little more clever to be able to make those sales on Amazon. And one of the ways to make sales, and something that will actually be good probably forever, is trendjacking, because these trends, they're always brand new and you never know. Nobody can predict what's going to happen in politics or culture. It's always kind of a surprise. And if you're sitting there and you're kind of keeping your eye on what's happening, you can start using these trending topics, posting designs and posting products on Amazon and Etsy and making sales. And I did this. I talked about this, I think, in my last show, where I made a design based on a meme. And so far that design made me 50 sales. And it was just simple. I just made an easy, simple design based on the meme. It was a trending topic, and it's kind of a flash in the pan kind of thing. So it sold a bunch and then kind of trickled out. But 50 sales that's a pretty decent amount of money. That's about $1,000 worth of sales for one little stupid meme. So you can keep doing this over and over again. I don't know if they're all going to be, really good like that, but man, there's something to be said about these trends. People really love them. So let's talk about the different kinds of trends and how to take advantage of them. Number 1, and of course, this is true, it's politics. We had a unicorn in the Oval Office. His name was Donald Trump, And when I say he was a unicorn, I mean he was unlike anything anybody had ever seen before. If you could have predicted that a reality TV star was going to be the president of the United States, you might as well have predicted that, John Travolta was going to become a ballet dancer. It's just not, it's not something that anybody envisioned. Donald Trump, the guy who made himself famous by saying, "You're fired," on that stupid reality TV show, The Apprentice. I never watched that show. I found it incredibly stupid, even the concept of it. But when Donald Trump got in the office, he made people crazy. I don't know how, because he was just kind of a clown, just a mild clown. He wasn't anything different than any other celebrity, but he made people crazy. And so people would buy products with his name on it, or they would buy products that basically declared their hatred for Donald Trump. So it was kind of like this either you love him or you hate him, and it's very tribal. So the politics became very tribal, and it hasn't gotten any better. It's gotten much worse. Although Donald Trump is no longer on Twitter or any other social media, the tribalism has not improved. And I mean, this is definitely a problem for our culture, but problems present opportunities, and you can make money off of the tribalism. So it doesn't matter which side you fall on. In fact, it would be ideal for you to just be neutral. Me, I'm neutral. I don't care if Donald Trump, disappears from planet Earth tomorrow. I don't care. Donald Trump was nothing to me, and he had this thing going. It's over now. Joe Biden is nothing to me. The Prime Minister of Canada is nothing to me. He's just somebody sitting in a chair telling everybody what to do. But I'm going to make money because that's what provides for my family. So I'm going to use politics to make designs based on people's tribalistic tendencies. And I mean, it's an option. So that's probably the number one thing, the number one trend here to jump on. It's probably the most profitable one and kind of the most long-term, right? Because political figures tend to be in office for quite some time. And, they'll have these sound bites and these quotes that they say. And it can be actually fairly competitive niche to get into. So you have to kind of be first and make really good designs based on this. And you do have to be a little bit careful because sometimes these designs, Etsy and Amazon won't allow certain things to be posted. For example, if you are disputing the results of an election, then they will take down that product real quick and you could lose your store, actually. So you definitely have to be a little bit cautious when you're posting these things because, there are some danger zones, let's call them. All right, so number 2 is memes. And I've got to put this caveat out there because memes are they're kind of a parody. So typically what people are doing is they're taking some kind of pop culture thing, sometimes it clips from a TV show or a picture of a celebrity or something like that, and the meme is some text or something, or there's some kind of adaptation of something that's already in the culture. And you'll know it when you see it. There's a couple of memes that come to mind. There's one of the stonks meme, the GameStop where people were buying the GameStop stock and it went up to the moon, and there's a whole bunch of memes around that. So that is fertile ground for creating lots and lots of products. And the products that sell the best for those, I think, tend to be t-shirts, and the designs tend to be a little bit more elaborate. So this is one where if you want to keep capitalizing this, you might need to either hire a designer or t-shirt designer person and have them create the designs for you. Or if you're, remotely talented at doing it yourself, take the time and do it yourself. I have no talent for this whatsoever. I'm not a talented designer. I can make simple text designs. I kind of wish I had more talent, but then again, it takes more time to create designs, so I don't really want to do it myself. I'd rather hire somebody to do it. Actually have, somebody in my family who's very talented at making designs. So sometimes I'll throw him an idea and I'll say, hey, can you create me a, design for this? I saw it trending and I just want to see if it'll work. So memes. Memes are great, and the danker the better. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. All right, so number 3, this is different from politics and memes, is trending topics. So this could just be anything in the news. One thing that comes to mind, and of course, if you listen to this podcast in 2 or 3 months, you might not even remember that this happened, but there was a container ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal. I think it was called the Ever Given. I don't know, it was called Ever something. Anyway, so I guess the wind blew it into the side of the Suez Canal, and it just stuck there for like 4 or 5 days. And everybody was just watching this. So it was a trending topic. And I guarantee you there were people making money selling t-shirts and mugs and other kinds of print-on-demand products with this meme about the ship stuck in the Suez Canal. Now, things like that, you have to, again, the designs tend to be elaborate, and often you might need to make some kind of visual design rather than a text-based design. So it's not quite as easy to capitalize on it unless the trending topic is some kind of, some kind of text-based thing. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would meet that criteria. But again, just keeping your eye on the news and making designs based on what's trending could make you some money. All right, number 4 is anger topics. So this is a little bit of some people don't like this because it's controversial, right? So you're making topics based on things that people hate, right? Just people hate a lot of things. Some people hate the government. Some people love the government. So you got to look around you and see, what are people passionate about? Often people are more passionate about the things that they don't like rather than the things that they do like. It's not always the case. People are passionate about sports and technology and current events and stuff like that, but often there's almost nothing that riles people's anger more than some kind of perceived injustice. So a good example of this is the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I have talked about this in the distant past, probably a year ago, making designs around Black Lives Matter. It's just not something that I am interested in doing myself. But it is an anger topic, and I absolutely guarantee you that there has been a good couple $1 million worth of merchandise sold just over, anger topics in the last year. So this kind of follows the watch the news thing. Although, again, you might be putting yourself at the mercy of angry people making these kinds of products, because if somebody isn't angry about it or loves the thing that you're making the design around, they might come and try and come at you. So you might get angry messages from customers, is what I'm trying to say. Potential customers. So, if you're okay with that, then making these designs based on anger topics might be something that you could take a look into. And, of course, the last thing, number 5, is pop culture. And this is a juicy plum. This is great. So, again, you have to be very cautious when you're doing this because there's a lot of trademark issues here. But quotes from shows that are popular and famous, as long as you're not, directly referencing the show, you're not using any trademark imagery, typically like quotes, short quotes, or even just referential referring to something in a show tends to be fairly safe. And the older the show, the more safe it is. So definitely you don't want to do anything that's still on the air. You don't want to use trademarked imagery. But there are, memes that kind of circulate through pop culture. Things that don't necessarily come from the show or the movie itself, but are related to it, and people who know, they know. So when they see some kind of quote, even if it's not from the show, they will know what it means. A great example of this is from the Harry Potter movies. And it's not even from the Harry Potter movies. It was a quote from, oh my gosh, what is the guy who played Snape? Why is his name not appearing in my head? I'm really bad at the name that actor. My wife is really good at this, but somebody asked, his wife came up and he was reading the books again, I guess. And his wife said, "You're still reading that?" And he said, "Always." So this has become a kind of a meme in the Harry Potter fan kingdom, I guess you could call it, fandom, is "Are you still doing this?" and "Always." So it's not directly coming from, the actual movies themselves or even the books, but it's referring to it in a way that people who know and appreciate it, they'll know. And that's an example of pop culture. There's also, of course, old TV shows like Friends and The Golden Girls, and I do see a lot of people using, references to those, the quotes from the show. I mean, if you've watched The Golden Girls, my wife loves The Golden Girls, there's things that the characters always said, and they're just classic quotes from those characters. I usually think that those are fairly safe. Technically, that's still under the copyright from the show, but I mean, a short quote, it'd be hard pressed for them to come after you for that. So, you take a tiny bit of a risk, I guess. But if you're using it in a parody kind of way, then you can usually kind of get away from it. Definitely, you don't want to use anything that is from currently running TV shows or movies. Not that there's really that many really good TV shows out right now with notable quotes. It seems like our current culture is just kind of stuck in the mud. So maybe it's just because I don't watch any of the new TV shows that are out there, and they just don't look very interesting to me. I mean, I guess there's some new TV shows that are pretty decent. Some people like The Witcher, but I wouldn't use anything from that show because it's currently running. They're currently making money from it, and they would come after you for sure. So that's pretty much it for Trendjacking. The ones I like the most, of course, are the memes and the politics and pop culture. Those are my three favorite of those five I gave you. But go ahead and try something based on trending topics. I think that's probably the safest one to start at. And, let me know how it goes. You might make a few sales off of it, make some money, get your Amazon account seeded with some of those wonderful sales. And that's it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next week. Cheers.